Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moran. We're happy to have you with us. It's a championship round of our fourth ladder series of the season. Today, we will have our fourth participant in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year.
A couple weeks in a row, Hugh Ferguson just grinding it out, and as he said to me when we concluded last week, he said it wasn't pretty. It was the old Steve Martin line, comedy isn't pretty, and sometimes Candlepin bowling isn't either.
It's the result that counts.
That's right.
He's won a couple of matches, and last week he defeated Joe Schifferdecker 352 to 320. The week before he ousted Sean McKinley 350 to 348, setting up this afternoon's match against top seed Ryan Tripp. Let's meet our bowlers. Winner of two matches, our number 3 seed from Hanover, Massachusetts. Welcome back, Hugh Ferguson.
Hugh Ferguson coming in with a 120 average, high single 212, best triple 486, bowling at Hanson Athletic Association in Hanson, Mass, and the Hanover Bowlodrome.
And he rolled a 666 in the roll-off to earn the number 3 seed in this ladder series, rolling a 687 and earning the number 1 seed and watching everybody knock everybody off, waiting for this afternoon's match. Here's Ryan Tripp from Lowell, Massachusetts.
Ryan bowled in the mixed doubles here just a couple of weeks ago. The name sounds familiar, and as you look at him now, you remember average 118, high single 182. His best triple is 414, and he bowls at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
And the winner moves on to the Tournament of Champions. Let's get right to it. It's Ryan Tripp and Hugh Ferguson. When we come back to Leda Lanes, it's Candlepin Stars and Strikes next. We began with 5 bowlers, and we're down to 2 as Hugh Ferguson and Ryan Tripp get set to go head-to-head for a berth in the Tournament of Champions, and we're ready to go with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua. There's Hugh Ferguson, our first bowler here this afternoon. A real thin hit, and they continue to fall. We'll tell you a little bit about Hugh if you didn't watch any of the previous shows that featured Hugh Ferguson. He's from Hanover, Massachusetts, bowling out of the Hanson Athletic Association and Hanson Bowlodrome. He's been bowling for over 50 years. He's 56 years old. He and his wife Pam have been married for 37 years. A son Glenn, 37, a son Ross, 34. He's employed as a Teamster truck driver for the Boston Globe. And he starts off with a 9 box. On his way to this championship match, he's won a couple of matches. He defeated Sean McKinley 350 to 348. Last week he eliminated second-seeded Joe Schifferdecker 352 to 320. In our first match of this ladder series, Sean McKinley, the number 5 seed, defeated 4th-seeded Mike Poulin 397 to 374. There's a nice shot by Hugh Ferguson. And our first mark of the match. Now Ryan Tripp. Ryan lived in Draken until recently, moved to Lowell not that long ago. Rolled a 687 in the roll-off. We saw him recently in our mixed doubles competition. Nice smooth delivery. Little unorthodox style as he holds the ball out in his left hand. As he approaches the lane, you see him holding it there out in front of him. And he'll not make the spare.
You mentioned he was in the mixed doubles. His partner was Sue Holleran, who works right here at Leda Lanes. He and Sue lost to Mike Morgan and Jennifer Callie DiBiasio 394 to 338 back on January 2nd, about a month ago.
What's unusual about his delivery is he holds the ball out in his left hand. Most bowlers will put their second hand on the ball as they get up there and get into position to bowl. He keeps his right hand away from the ball. Look at this for a shot after a pretty good first ball. The 5-7-10. No wood to help out.
Certainly
Spirited
deserved.
Crowd here at the Leda Lanes.
He deserved better than that. He doesn't have any wood to work with.
Well, try to play it off the wood. That won't count.
And we'll subtract a pin because that hit the pin that was in the gutter. So he really is shooting for a 9 at best.
9, yeah. He'll take an 8 box. So an 18 for Ryan as he starts out. Ryan, by the way, 30 years old, a software engineer for Raytheon. Hugh Ferguson working on a spare. Last week, Hugh was bothered by cramps during the match with Joe Schiffer-Decker. We had to stop the match for about 10 minutes in the middle of the match and give Hugh time to recuperate. Missed the spare. Didn't seem to bother him much after that, Michael.
You know, it looked like he was in pain, but he played through it, and Joe Schiffer-Decker was gentlemanly enough to allow him a 10-minute break from the action when he, I guess, really wouldn't have had to.
We don't have a ground rule, really, that covers something like that, and we kind of let the bowlers decide things like that among themselves. There's a half Worcester.
Just want to acknowledge a correspondence from Ray Como. I'm sure a lot of people remember Hall of Famer Joe Como, former world champion.
Any relation to Perry Como?
Not spelled the same. Ray put together a little guide for beginning bowlers and help people understand the game and some of the basics of it. So we want to thank him for sharing it and sending along. Nicely done. Ray Como. It's called Candlepin Bowling.
Remember Perry Como's announcer?
I do not.
Frank Gallup.
Really? You remember?
Oh, there's a strike for Ryan Tripp.
That may be the quickest strike in history.
That one took no time at all. Watch it again. Right in the 1-2 pocket, and there they go. First mark of the string for Ryan Tripp.
You remember Perry Como's nickname?
Just to see the barber,
the singing barber.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sure. Come along with me. That was the theme song. You remember that?
Of course.
Are you that old?
I remember Perry Como. Come on. Didn't die that many years ago,
Nope.
Actually.
It's going to be a 7-box for Ryan.
So it's a 3-pin match in favor of Hugh Ferguson, who's he's somehow hobbled along the last couple of weeks with 2 victories and now would like to get the top spot today to get into the Tournament of Champions, which will begin in April. We assign the seeds according to how the bowlers do when they win their ladder championship. And right now the highest is being held by Jeff Surratt at 400, followed by Dave Hodge, 371, and Craig Holbrook, 347.
Well, Hugh gave that one a run. He had that last piece of wood flying all over the place, but in the wrong direction. That'll be a 10-box.
Yep, gonna need another shot, trying to clear some wood out.
I think it'll take it, yeah.
The sweep shall get rid of it.
Hugh moves over to lane 33. Off the head pin, caught the second pocket. Look at that. He's got a real spare opportunity here. The 1 and the 8, piece of wood behind the 1 pin in front of the 8 pin. The only thing he has to do here is hit the 1 pin, and it should take care of itself. That is the key, and he missed it. He had to hit it straight on, and he hit it to the side. And a 10-box for Hugh. It's never as easy as it looks. We've said that so many times. We'll get to some of your cards and letters and emails that we've received since the last taping. I'm not sure if we read this email the last series or not. I remember reading the email, but I don't remember if we read it on the air. I heard you mention on TV that you thought the highest string since we started doing the show was in the 180s. And actually, according to Anthony Caron of Groton, Massachusetts, it's a 190 by Rich Clark against Sean Baker in the 1999 T of C. Just thought you would like to know.
He is correct. I got that email. I checked it out, and he is right.
Anthony Karen.
Good work, Anthony. Thank you.
Keeping us on our toes.
That's for sure. Yeah, we keep the records here with us, but we don't always have time to kind of leaf through them during the show, so we kind of take a guess once in a while, and we're not always right. So you folks at home are paying attention.
Here's a nice strike by Ryan Tripp. 2 strikes. Watch it again. Another convincing strike by Ryan. No hesitation on the part of any of the pins.
Same as his third frame strike, which was just a crusher.
Here's Hugh Ferguson. Good first ball.
That's going to be a tough spare. The 4, 5, 7, 8. 2 sets of parallel pins. Pin would be better served if it was angled a little bit more, but it's still makeable.
He swept it out. Oh, he gave it a good run. Got an email from Tom Hargreaves from Salem, New Hampshire, who has sent us several communiques in the past. Here I am again, still enjoying the bowling, and have done some TV converting. I find myself watching the station more and more from Al doing the weather, etc. I've converted a few nurses at the CMC Hospital in Manchester while getting a few heart stints and a pacemaker this summer. They never watched bowling, but really enjoyed the show with me, even though they were reruns. Thinking back to his pinboy days, he can remember all the leagues back then, and the WW2 vets telling some real war stories. What did come back was when they gave you your rallies. I had 5 and 6 and used to wax and shine them every Saturday morning. They'd apply butcher paste wax, then polish them with the reversed sleeves cut off the bomber jacket, real thick sheepskin.
He's talking about the lanes?
Yeah.
Wow.
How they shined the lanes. One of the owners gave us his B-29 flight suit to cut up for alley buffing. They had no buffers then. How about that? They'd cover their feet with the sheepskin sleeves and do the alley shuffle sometimes to music from the jukebox. That was Ben and Glenn's time to shine. Thanks to Tom Hargreaves from Salem, New Hampshire. And whatever they just did in the truck almost blew my ears right now.
Well, there's a 3 fill, but not a problem because Ryan Tripp is working on a strike, and you don't start counting fill till the second ball. So hopefully he can come back and get a few more pins. Not many more, but 3 more helps.
Again, thanks to Tom Hargreaves from Salem, New Hampshire for that nice note. Remembering the days back when.
So through completed boxes, Ryan Tripp holding a 2-pin lead over Hugh Ferguson, who is in his 3rd week. He's also on 5 consecutive 10 boxes. Now Ryan Tripp up against another 10 with Hugh Ferguson. Ryan doing his bowling at Pilgrim Lanes. One of his friends, Andrew Medeiros, is here. Dick, you and I had the pleasure of having lunch with Andrew and his dad, Bart Medeiros. We're both coaches at Pilgrim Lanes and very much involved in rock and bowl and fundraising for the kids' Canadian bowling trip, which is coming up in the middle of March. Don't forget, February 20th from 9 to 1 at Pilgrim Lanes. Dick and I will be hosting a day full of great bowling with a lot of your favorite professionals.
And they just don't come any nicer than Bart Medeiros and more dedicated to the game of Candlepin bowling.
He and a handful of other people would do anything to help promote the game by way of youth leagues, and he does a great job, as all the coaches do, at Pilgrim Lanes. So we'll see him and his son, Andrew, who's a freshman at, I believe, UNH.
Yeah.
Music major. Just what a nice family. Can't say enough about them. Bart Medeiros being honored at a Hall of Fame induction a couple of years ago, winning, I believe it's the President's Cup for exemplary participation and gentlemanly behavior and all the good things he does for the game.
And you and I were honored to be at that ceremony and the induction of the others into the Hall of Fame. It was really quite a thrill to be there.
They have a Hall of Fame inductions every 2 or 3 years, so hopefully next year they'll be due for another one.
Put 7 in the spare.
So the match is tied through 8.
Almost, not quite. So he's at 110. 111 for Hugh Ferguson in string number 1. Ryan Tripp on lane 34. Tough shot here for Ryan with the 2, 4, 7, 8. The 8 behind the 2-pin is not a gimme.
Wow.
You say I could have made that shot, huh? At home? That's what you're saying right now. I could have made that shot. Not that easy. 95 through 9. How many armchair quarterbacks do you think there are at home watching these matches and watch these bowlers?
At least 60,000.
I could have made that shot, they say.
All right, who wants to make that one?
Tough shot here. 2, 4, 6. Yep. No wood. Ooh, he almost cut it. He cut it too thin.
Yeah, he'll be less than a mark behind Hugh Ferguson, who had a 111 his first game.
He is at 104 right now. 105 first string for Ryan Tripp. A 6-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson over Ryan Tripp after 1. We continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire with Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Ryan Tripp ready to bowl and ready to start string number 2. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. Happy to have you with us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, with Hugh Ferguson leading Ryan Tripp by 6 pins after 1. Kevin LaFon's our director today. Our engineer is Keith Webb, Greg Amabello, Larry Haber, Tanya Perry. Operating our cameras, Chuck Lothrop's on replay, Eric Anger is handling the audio, Steve Kenny on graphics. And they make it possible for you to watch Candlepin Bowling Stars and Strikes each and every week from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You see the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world. Mike, a couple of months ago, I guess it was by now, we talked about bowlers who bowled with 2 balls,
sure,
balancing the ball in each hand. And we've had several email responses from people who were familiar with it. As I mentioned to you at the time, I hadn't seen it in a long time. My dad used to do it. I knew a couple of people that did it way back when. Wondered if it was a lost art, if anybody did it anymore. And here's an email from Martha Keating from Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Hi, Mike and Dick. While watching the doubles match, January 2nd, he asked if there's anyone who still used the 2-ball approach, holding a ball in the opposite hand as they bowl. I know of only one person who does that, and that's Gordon Crawford. He now lives up in Canada, but was a regular bowler at Mason Recreation Center in Leominster and the old Hub Lanes in Lunenburg, which is now closed. Gordon still comes down into the area to visit family. I believe he bowled on the Senior Pro Tour here in New England also. Keep up the good work, and I'll say hi at one of the next tapings. That's Martha Keating from Fitchburg, Massachusetts. So she's familiar with somebody who's done it, and watch that shot one more time. Took a while, but they finally all tumbled for Hugh Ferguson. That one got away from him, went into the second pocket, and he still has another ball to fill the strike. 4 horsemen right side, the 8-pin in the back, a piece of wood in front of the 8-pin. So we'll put 7 in the strike for Hugh Ferguson.
So Hugh is extending his lead now to 13 pins early in game number 2. This is the championship match for a position in the April Tournament of Champions.
Good first ball by Ryan right there. got the 2 and the 5 pin with a piece of wood in the middle. And he missed it.
Missed the object pin, which was the 2.
And a 9 box. Got an email here from a lady who just signed it as Leanne. Didn't put a last name, but that's okay. I watch every Saturday and Sunday wondering why we never see kids bowling on your show. You always talk about how we bowl for kids at the Rock and Bowl so they can go bowling in Canada. Why not bring some of their talent to your show? I think that has to do with giving away prize money and the certain age requirement that we have.
Yeah, amateur status and such. No. If we did do it, there would be no prizes except trophies, and I don't think anybody would mind that.
That's a nice shot by Ryan right there.
No bonus money yet today, Dick, and not really too much the last couple of weeks.
There were not a lot of marks in the first string. That's both bowlers had 2 marks. There's a good shot by Hugh Ferguson right in the pocket in the 5-7, staring back at him. The 5 pin goes. And the 10 box. Hugh adds another pin to his lead.
Hugh Ferguson bowled 30 times on the old Don Gillis show, winning 18 times. That's a pretty good percentage. That's about 60%. Very successful bowler over the years and been doing it a long time, bowling over 50 years. He is now 56 years of age.
I don't think Don Gillis was very old at the time, though. He will take the 2 on the right and finish with a 10 box. A nice 10 box as we go to the break. It's Hugh Ferguson in the lead as we go to the break from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes. All right, Ryan Tripp ready to bowl as we come back from the break. He's working on a spare. Hugh Ferguson has a 14-pin lead in the match, minus whatever Ryan can get on his spare. The lefty from Lowell on lane 34 puts 6 in the mark.
One, 2, and the 6-10. There's no wood on the deck to help him here. Looking for just a second spare of this game. Going too far to the left, missing the object pin.
That'll be an 8 box.
Ryan
52.5 for Ryan.
Hasn't really gotten on track yet. 105 his first string, and he's about on pace for the same thing this game.
That's a good first ball, and look at what's staring right back at him.
Doesn't get any better for him.
The 7 and the 10. He threw a great first ball. And needs a miracle. And he'll take a 9 box. 61 through 6 for Ryan Tripp. Hugh Ferguson steps to the line. Candlepin Stars and Strikes, presented by McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and McMulkin Cadillac, all in Nashua, and by the games of the New Hampshire Lottery Commission, including Tri-State Megabucks and Powerball. Don't forget your Powerball ticket this week. And if you would like to be part of our family, we'd like to talk to you about becoming a participating sponsor on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Call the station at 603-434-8850. and get all of the information you need to become part of the family and sponsor the highly rated Candlepin Stars and Strikes show. It's the top rated show on the station week after week, and you can be part of it. Again, the phone number is 603-434-8850, and you'll get all the information you need. Oh, there's a strike for Hugh Ferguson. Watch it again. He was right on the head pin. Now Ryan Tripp. A little pressure on Ryan right now.
Oh.
Got one other two-ball bowler email. This is from Dawn. No other signature on the email. I know a two-hand bowler at Academy Lanes in Bradford, Mass. His name is Doug Michaud, and he bowls on Wednesday night. Doug holds a ball in the hand that he doesn't use to bowl. Just balance or for whatever reason. Well, makes him feel better.
We've made a lot of people very famous here in the last couple of weeks talking about bowlers that have two balls and one in each hand both times.
Ryan Tripp moves to lane 33. That's a good first ball right on the head pin and a split. Got the 5 pin, the 6 pin, and the 10 pin. The wood between the 5 and the 6 gives him a shot at it. That's a good shot at it. Second mark of the string for Ryan Tripp. Watch it again. He went right at the 5 pin, caught the tip of the dead wood, and that wood took out the 6 and the 10. Now here's Ferguson working on a strike. His second strike of the string. Good first ball, same leave, but the wood's not there. The 5, 6, 10, this time no wood.
No help now.
This is a tough shot without the wood.
He'll hope for 9 to fill the strike that he had in the 6th box.
And that's what he went after, but he takes 1, so it's an 8. He'll be open in the 7th frame with a 9 box. Now he's up against the Ryan Tripp mark in the 8th. Next week, a new ladder series. We'll have 5 new bowlers vying for a spot in the Tournament of Champions.
Winner today is going to take home a pretty nice check, $1,500. The runner-up gets $1,000. But more importantly, as Dick points out, a position in the Tournament of Champions is at stake today. We're filling position number 4 of what will eventually be 6.
Chopped one out. That's a good 10 box. That's a real nice 10 box for Hugh Ferguson. Ryan Tripp trying to battle back, working on a spare. Trails by 19 pins, minus whatever he gets on this ball. And he got 8. Another spare for Ryan Tripp, trying to put a finishing kick here in the 2nd string.
In completed boxes, Ryan Tripp is now 11 pins behind, but that spare will tidy things up if Hugh Ferguson does not mark in the 9th frame.
Good first ball. That's a $50 shot right there. That's another strike that took no time at all. Right in the pocket, and there they go. $50 in bonus money for Ryan Tripp.
Kind of woke the crowd up, didn't it?
It did. Right in the pocket. Looking to fill the strike. He's at 123. And a 125. Second string for Ryan Tripp. And an opportunity to take the lead going into the third string unless Hugh Ferguson marks.
Well, Hugh Ferguson is going to need at least one mark to take the lead into game number 3 as Ryan Tripp puts together 3 marks and picks up $50 in bonus money to end his second game. Not bad. A 52 half ending up with 125, which means that gave him a 73 second half.
They've got a 123 on the board here, but we all know it's 125, and that'll be corrected at the opportunity.
Kate Nichols taking a little guff from the crowd here today for a 2-pin error on her
He
map.
with a 9 box. So barring mark, Ryan Tripp will have the lead. And that's a half Worcester right there for Hugh Ferguson.
Well, this match changed in a hurry, didn't it, Dick? I mean, it's almost like it just flipped.
3 marks in a row will do that.
Because it was very close. Ryan was able to stay within about 10 pins of Hugh Ferguson. And it just keeps getting worse for Ferguson.
Took out 2 on one side, 1 on the other. Now he's trying to salvage a count. What kind of an out can he get here? He's right on the head pin. 1 more.
4
That's
pins.
a 4 box.
Wow.
And a 105 second string for Hugh Ferguson. A 216 through 2. A 14-pin lead for Ryan Tripp over Hugh Ferguson. Headed to the third and final string. We continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Hugh Ferguson first of all, string number 3 from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutsk with Mike Morin. Glad you could join us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, our championship match of this latter series. Ryan Tripp leads Hugh Ferguson by 14 pins going to the third string. Ferguson had a 6-pin lead after 1. A 20-pin difference in the second string, 125 to 105. Puts Tripp in the lead by 14, and Ferguson starts off the third string with a mark. Barbara Parker from Springfield, Vermont sent us a note. I bowled 10 pins for 25 years. And every Saturday, if I'm home, I watch the Candlepin Bowling Show. I look forward to seeing the great bowlers in your area. Thank you for a fun Saturday, noontime. Barbara Parker, Springfield, Vermont, thank you very much for watching every week. Nice to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you wherever you may be. Here's the email address right on your screen. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you, or send us a letter to Candlepin Stars and Strikes, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. Or you can drop a line to Leda Lanes, L-E-D-A, Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03063. That's the number, that's the address to send your bonus ball postcard to. After every match, we pick a card out of the bin, and our winning bowler bowls a ball. And if your number matches the number of pins knocked down by the winning bowler, you will win whatever cash prize is in the jackpot. We're up to 40 bucks.
Dick, I think it's 50 this week. Yeah,
50 bucks.
50 bucks
this week. We draw the card out of the bin first, so the bowler knows how many pins you're going for. Ryan Tripp almost got a backdoor spare.
And the spread eagle, no less.
That'll be a 9 box.
Getting a lot of good-natured ribbing from a lot of his pals from Pilgrim Lanes who are here today, which is where he bowls. Some of his coaches and other friends, and of course, Gary Angelotti is here.
Really? How can you tell?
Because I go home and my ears are bleeding. That's how I can tell. We love you, Gary.
Ryan Tripp for the spare. Yes, it is. Watch it again. Tough spare. And that 8-pin took a little coaxing, but it finally toppled. Here's Hugh Ferguson with a strike. Boy, Hugh yells at the ball every time he throws it, doesn't he?
He does.
Huh? You can hear Hugh yelling at the ball when it leaves his hand. He's rooting that ball down the lane. Hugh Ferguson in lane 33. Another one in the pocket. 9-pin fall. And the 10-pin is surrounded.
Well, the energy level has come up correspondingly to the level of bowling, which has jumped up here in the last few boxes. The crowd has gone from being surly to energetic.
Another spare for Hugh. 3 marks in 4 boxes for Hugh Ferguson. And let's see how Ryan Tripp responds. Ryan enjoys softball leagues, basketball, and running.
Couldn't
Will
go.
that pin fall?
Oh,
It
it
does
did go
fall.
down.
Yep. So that gives him an 8-pin count in the spare.
Question is, will that wood move over from the right to the left?
I think it will. Yeah.
Beautifully done.
2 marks in a row for Ryan. Watch it again. He had the wood set up really nicely. The one wood to kick into the second wood and to take it out.
Perfect.
If I had the telestrator here, I could have drawn that for you and shown you how it was going to happen. Ryan with a pretty good count again. 8 in the spare. And now a tough spare. This is the 1 and the 8. Missed it. Just missed it. The ball just missed the 8-pin as you saw the deflection. So he will be open in the 4th. And that'll be a 9 box. We go to the break with Ryan Tripp leading the match, but Hugh Ferguson working on a mark as we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua. It's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Hugh Ferguson on lane 34 working on a spare. He trails by 12 pins minus whatever he gets on this ball. He gets a lot. He gets 8. He gets 9. So we're down to a 3-pin differential. And Hugh Ferguson looking for $50 in bonus money if he can convert this spare right here. And he does. $50 in bonus money for Hugh Ferguson. Each bowler now has earned bonus money here this afternoon. $50 apiece. The triple strike jackpot is at $775.
High string for the day. That bowler gets another $50. Lots of incentives for extra money to be made.
Hugh Ferguson looks for another one. That's another $25 in bonus money for Hugh Ferguson, and more importantly, he takes the lead in the match. Ryan Tripp. Now we'll see how he responds to the pressure with Hugh Ferguson putting up 2 marks in a row. Just missed the head pin. 4 horsemen right side. One, 3, 6, 10. No wood. Fed it to the outside. Just missed it. So he will be open. And Hugh Ferguson will jump into the lead. And it's a 7 box. A costly $7 for Ryan Tripp.
The match has flipped again just as quickly as it did at the end of last string.
4 marks in a row for Ferguson did the trick.
It did, plus
5
10.
marks in 6 boxes for Hugh to start the 3rd string. Ryan Tripp, that one got away from him.
Held onto it just a bit too long and leaves 2 sets of sleepers.
1, 2, 5, 8, 9. Tough shot.
Time is running out now for the youngster from Lowell. Can you call a 30-year-old a youngster? Well, compared to us, I guess.
Threw a good ball, and this is an unusual leave right here. This is the 2, 5, 9. The 3 pins in the middle. And that'll be a 9 box. So Ferguson now with the lead. He has an 11-pin lead plus whatever he puts in his strike.
This match is not over by any stretch.
No, the twists and turns of this match, the tide could change any minute. A couple of open frames by Hugh. And then if Ryan could put a couple of marks on the board, we'd be right back to an even situation. You got a pretty good break out of that poorly thrown first ball. And he'll put 9 in the strike. He leads by 20 pins.
And will not get a spare in the 7th frame. But he also hasn't left a pin standing today through 7. He's perfect. 5 spares and 2 10 boxes.
The open frame gives Tripp an opportunity in that 7th frame to gain some ground. Ferguson on 33, missed the head pin. Got a pretty good break though. Oh, got a great break. The 1 and the 3 still stand after a ball that didn't look like it was going to get him much of anything. Will he make the spare? He will not. He threw it past the head pin. 2 open frames. The door is open for Ryan Tripp.
2 arcs, and Ryan could bring it back to even with 2 boxes to go.
That'll be a 10 box for Hugh Ferguson.
Again, Hugh has not left a pin standing today, at least in this string.
The ball is in Ryan Tripp's court really right now. He can determine his own destiny if he can put a couple of marks on the board. Easier said than done. Missed the head pin.
Very, very difficult spare. The 1, 3, 7, and 8 with no wood.
Almost done it. Oh, he just missed it. That piece of wood came sweeping by and took a left turn at the 7 pin. 10 box.
Well, he doesn't lose any ground, but he's losing time.
He needs a mark here desperately.
Mark could pull it within 10 pins. Keep him in the match.
Thin hit, tough shot. Tough shot here. 3, you got the 4, 5, 7, and 8. Piece of wood to the right of the 5 pin. That's where he's going.
Well,
took a shot. Was that his only shot? It might have been, to try to make it that wide split. And he ends up with a 9 box.
Wow, 21 pin lead for Hugh Ferguson is huge with 2 frames to go.
Yep. 1 mark would just about do it.
And he's got a chance to move into 2nd place in the Tournament of Champions should he go on to win.
Trying to break up the split. The 7 and the 10 still stand. There's wood on the deck. And that wood continues to roll over to the right side. Will it roll all the way off? Looks like it might. On the right side wood is a non-factor. It's gone. Let's see how he plays it. There's the wood on the left. And a 10 box.
This is easily the best string he's thrown in his 3 weeks here.
He's at marks. 134.
4 10s.
Yeah. A mark here would just about do it. It's going to take a real miracle for Ryan, even without a mark here on the part of Hugh Ferguson. But if Hugh should put a mark on the board, that would really be the clincher. And Hugh surveys the situation. You've got a mess on the deck right now. The 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And there they go. All but the 7 and 10. So he's open in the 10th.
Ryan still has a chance, believe it or not.
Not much of a chance, but a chance. Needs a strike. And that would be a 9 box and a 143 for Hugh Ferguson in a 359 triple. 359 for Ferguson. 40 pins to tie, 41 to win. In 2 frames for Ryan Tripp. Good first ball, strike. Strike in the 30 on the lane 34. That cuts the margin. Needs another one.
And that was the 4-pin that came across and took out the 6 and the 10.
So Ryan Tripp moves over to lane 33, the left-hand lane. And let's see how he reacts. The picture of concentration right there. Missed the head pin, threw it away from the head pin. The 10 goes. Look at this. They continue to go. He missed it. There it is. There's the match right there. If he made that shot, he had a chance with a strike on the spare to tie the match.
That's correct.
And he ends up with a 118 third string, and Hugh Ferguson advances with a 359 to 348 win over Ryan Tripp at Leda Lanes. We come back to wrap it up right after this as you watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Hugh Ferguson has defeated Ryan Tripp, the final of 359 to 348. Mike Moran reaches into the bin. We're going right to the bonus ball contest. In the interest of time, Viola Smith of Fitchburg, Mass. wants Hugh to knock down 6 pins for 50 bucks. Hugh, let's see if we can get it done. Hugh Ferguson going after a 6, and it is going to be a 7 or an 8. We'll have a consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts. $1,500 first prize plus bonus money for Hugh Ferguson. $1,000 runner-up money for Ryan Tripp, and the Tournament of Champions now has a 4th member.
Here are your 4 bowlers. Still in the top spot is Jeff Surratt. Dave Hodge is 2nd. Now Hugh Ferguson today is 3rd, and Craig Holbrook is 4th.
New ladder series begins next week. For Mike Moran and our entire crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.